All right. Shouty Show segment. We didn't get to do it yesterday, but we're going to wrap the show up with it today. And then I got to run home and talk to Jim Nagy about the Senior Bowl, which you guys will hear about next week. So let's talk. Let's see what we got from the Shouty Shows.
Let's go.
But unfortunately now, it's just depression. That's what it is being a Cowboy fan. It's utter depression and anger, and where the hell do I go from here? And a hire like this isn't getting your – even if it's Kellen Moore, maybe it's not Shouty. And I'm not trying to crap on him. Good dude, family's awesome. They walk by us all the time, Brian, in post games. Yeah. But this is an utterly crap hiring if that's what you're going to do. It's disgraceful, and it's a slap in the face to your fans. It's like you're doing a bit. Do you give a damn? The answer is no right now, you don't. You don't care about winning a championship, and all you care about is printing money.
Okay, that started slow, but it got into it's like and then we got warmed up, we got lathered up, and we started. It's an insult, it's a slap in the face. It's you got worked up by the end.
Slap in the face.
Yeah,
it is an interesting.
That was by Zach Wolchuk, who apparently is at 105.3 The Fan as a radio host, presenter, whatever. Got to admit, don't know who he is, but
it's all right. We do now.
Yeah.
No offense to Shouty. Waiting on a text back anyway. But he's a surprise hire. He's a surprise even interview candidate, obviously. Right?
Well, surprise for anybody but Dallas. It's like, had anybody else been like, oh, it turns out Brian Schottenheimer's emerged as the favorite for the head coaching gig, you'd be like, ooh, that's a shock. For Dallas, it's like, yeah, that kind of figures.
It's like he could be a great coach. I don't know. He could be an outstanding head coaching hire. But it's like going to Fogo, ordering a salad.
It's like going to Fogo and ordering a salad.
It's just like it's a curveball, right? Like you're not going there for the salad. Dallas is just like we're gonna order off a different menu.
Well, it's more
we're
like
ordering from a different menu in Dallas right now. He could be good. He could be good. He could be a perfectly fine hire. Who the heck knows?
Right, but the starting point is from the other side of that, right? Normally when we're looking at head coaching candidates, it's like Ben Johnson, right? Ben Johnson, the number one head coaching candidate this year and has been for like a couple of seasons. And then what you say is, well, look, all of the resume points are good. Everything on his resume right now is a positive. It's all good. That's why he's the number one candidate. On the other hand, we never know how they work out. Will he be a good head coach? Who knows? With Schottenheimer, it's almost the opposite. It's like there's nothing here that says he'll be a good head coaching candidate. There's an absence of positive resume points, but he might be one because who knows? It's like it's the exact opposite of what you're normally dealing with you're using the unknown quantity to justify his candidacy as opposed to saying his candidacy is good, but it might not work out because who knows? It's just the exact opposite of what the search normally is.
It is. It's just fence-sitting Steve, who probably was too critical of Dan Campbell. I'm just not going to play that game because we don't know. We don't really know.
But
all I'm saying is Dallas is ordering from a different menu is the whole point,
They're
right?
ordering from the cheap menu. That's the bottom line in all this, right? It's circling back to the strangeness of Jerry Jones is the one thing that characterizes his attitude as a general manager is being cheap in random areas, which makes no sense for a guy that has all the money in the world, is costing himself money actively by, dragging out Dak Prescott's contract, dragging out CeeDee Lamb's contract. Like, he's sort of deliberately burning through money in other areas where there's actually a restriction. Like he's in a closed system, like the salary cap, he's burning through money. And yet in an open system where there's no limit to how much money he could throw at it, he's like, 2 years? I don't know. Could you do one? It's like, what are we doing?
Tough to predict. Tough to predict Jerry. Or is it? All right, what else we got here?
I now have passionate opinions about this Ben Johnson guy. And I'm going to tell you right now, do not hire that man to be your head coach. I see that going as a disaster. I would love to have him back as the offensive coordinator after we sat him down and had a chat with him. But look, you call a pass, but it's not for your quarterback to throw the pass. It's for your receiver to throw the pass. Not just any receiver. The receiver that has shown us time and time again that in a league with George Pickens, it is he who has the worst judgment in the NFL. It is the one who tried to do a goddamn Pretty Ricky routine after he scored the touchdown on the reverse, and they had to get him to stop humping the ground. You entrusted a receiver with your season on the line. What kind of big brain bullshit was that?
All right, that part I think has some merit to it. The idea that of all the people, Jameson Williams' judgment, that's who you know.
And you have two choices. Throw it if it's open or throw it away.
In a binary decision-making process, I'm still not sure you want to be resting your entire season on Jameson Williams' judgment. You know, if that play had been called, say, for Amon-Ra, right? If he'd been the guy with the ball in his hands making the 50-50 call, do you throw it? Do you throw it away? You know, you call. I think you have a pretty good, I would trust him to make that decision correctly. And had he made that decision correctly, there's nothing wrong with the play call whatsoever. It's like literally nothing. Like they've made a season. We had a whole 10 minutes about this on the review show. It was actually a smart play design based off a play they'd already run, the one where Jameson Williams scored and then starts humping the field. Like, it's actually a good play call, but I do agree that there is some questionable decision-making allowing Jameson Williams to be the guy making that call.
Bomani Jones on the Shouty Show there.
Yeah.
I mean, the special part of that makes it Shouty Show is then projecting this one play call.
Right. This alone says that he can't be the head coach of the Bears.
Like, he will never have success as a future head coach because of this one play call. After a season of, if he called 25 trick plays, I mean, 18 of them were pretty legit. You know, they were pretty awesome.
To be fair and to remain consistent, I'm not above that. I have, for example, said that the thing that would steer me away from Jared Goff is the fact that he didn't know where the sun rose.
You're not afraid to be a one-issue voter.
Correct.
You're not afraid to be.
There are things that when I see them are so crazy that it will forever steer me away from that individual. I simply don't believe that this is bad enough. Like, I think you can make the argument that entrusting your season to Jameson Williams' decision-making is a mistake, right? I don't, however, believe it's such a prohibitive mistake that you go, that means you can't be the head coach of the Chicago Bears. There are things that he could do that would make me think that.
That's not one.
That isn't one of them.
That one play call is not one.
Correct.
Yeah, so we're taking the play call a little bit too far there. All right, what's next here? Shouty Shows.
And I've had enough with Kelsey. I've had enough with the girlfriend. And now I got Caitlin Clark in the mix. I mean, I understand you want to be a fan because they win. That was tough to say. I am so cheaped out. It's ridiculous. And, you know, ESPN, they're going to be as guilty as everybody else. They're going to show you, Swift and her in that freaking press box until the cows come home. When Taylor Swift's Bob Dylan, come back and talk to me. Come back and talk to me. When she has that sort of impact. Not for the 18-year-old girls like my daughter. Come back. You can use Swifties, you can say anything you want. Come back and talk to me.
Is he saying she's no Bob Dylan?
I don't know, but he never took off. He kind of
I thought he was
got to the brink a couple of times and then walked back.
I'm just trying to watch the football game here, and you're showing the Swiftie and the Caitlin and the Mahomes, and I don't care.
Like he never got into fever pitch. It felt like he was getting there and then just backed off it every time. That was a bit disappointing from Mad Dog.
Did people get so worked up with Buckeye legend LeBron James the other day? Every time that they showed him like 20 times during the game.
I don't know.
Like, I really care about LeBron and how he cares about his Buckeyes.
Yeah,
I thought we'd get a little bit more out of Mad Dog there.
That was pretty disappointing from him.
Because he was worked up. He gets worked up over Christmas.
Anything, literally anything.
Right? Christmas was driving him nuts.
Right.
I got the music and the presents and the day and the Christmas Eve, and he was very upset about a lot of Christmas things last time we heard from him.
He gets very upset about everything. I'm actually amazed that he managed to walk himself back from the brink on this one.
Mad Dog, mildly upset with Taylor Swift, but she's no Bob Dylan. She's not a game changer like Bob Dylan.
No Bob Dylan. Do you see Dave Portnoy being upset about the Dylan movie because he found it basically unrealistic and impossible to believe that back in the day people got really upset about Bob Dylan using an electric guitar as opposed to an acoustic guitar, right? He thought that this was like such a ridiculous premise that it made the movie impossible to buy into. Seemingly unaware that that's exactly what happened. The world was simply so stupid back then in a different way that it's extremely stupid right now, that is actually a real thing that people were upset by. Like, that became one of the massive stories in the music industry, was this guy, this traitor, was using an electric guitar, and we can't have that. But to Dave Portnoy, that was just so unrealistic. The movie was terrible.
That reality was...
Right. Reality was too unbelievable for him
crazy
to take the movie seriously.
Oh, man. She's no Bob Dylan.
Mad Dog
Taylor
says
Swift.
Taylor Swift is no Bob Dylan. I mean, he's right. She isn't.
It's good.
She's
It's a good comparison, but he could have, that was Skip-like energy. Though.
It's entirely accurate to say that she is not Bob Dylan.
She's not. She's definitely not Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
That's correct. Do we have one more, or is that it?
Final Shouty?
More than half of the league who the last time they thought they had a real chance to either win a championship or the best team they've had in years, that team's season was ended by Kansas City. The last great Bills team, how did that season end? The Chiefs. The last great Ravens team prior to 3 days ago, the Chiefs. The last time the Bengals made the playoffs, how'd that end? The Chiefs. The last really good Steelers team, how'd that season end? The Chiefs. You go to the NFC, obviously Eagles and Niners. And then, oh yeah, by the way, who did I not mention? Well, what are some big markets? The Bears? What's the Bears issue? Oh yeah, they passed on Mahomes. What's the Cowboys issue? Oh yeah, America's team, are we sure? So there is real direct, God dog it, not only do I not like them, they beat me. And they beat a team that I believed in. The other thing is this. We have never seen a face of the league guy never have adversity. People are watching not because, like, oh, I hate watching the Chiefs. They are rooting really, really hard against them.
Nick must love this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Chiefs just endless winning, just nothing but W's, nothing but the next dynasty.
Because he can go on a limb and say all these confident things and just not get burnt by it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, see, I told you again, they're going to beat the Bills and they're going to beat the Eagles and they're going to beat everybody.
It is interesting.
But like, people watch the Patriots for 20 years.
Yeah.
The Patriots were the lovable underdog for 1 year. Year one,
The
they
Rams
were.
year?
They were the lovable underdog. They came out as a team. Look at this. Patriots come as they're a team. They're not just one person. They're a team. Look at this. And then after that, it's like, oh no, we're sick of it. By 3 years in, that's just normal human nature. You get sick of the dynasty.
Right. Ben wants us to acknowledge the dark screen that was on there for a while. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to keep on rolling. Nothing.
I didn't
happened.
even notice.
Right. Nothing happened. It's interesting. I hated that Patriots dynasty team for the majority of it. Almost always I just didn't like the way they played football. I didn't like the way they were winning these games. I was in the camp of most of America hating the successful team, right? I don't hate this Chiefs team the same. Like I'm not saying I'm rooting for the three-peat, but I would respect the three-peat. Like in a way that I think that that's a compelling story, along with the Jaden Daniels thing, along with Buffalo winning one finally. If Kansas City actually gets a three-peat and we get this insane run of Mahomes and Kelsey and Andy Reid just being able to go, boop, playoffs, better, and turning it on and just winning, I don't hate that as much as I did the Patriots dynasty, and I don't know why. I don't have a good reason for that.
You should respect it no matter what. I mean, obviously it's an impressive accomplishment.
Right, but it was impressive when the Patriots were doing either, and yet I hated it. Yeah. I don't have a good explanation for why I don't immediately, like, it's not rubbing me the wrong way the way that the Patriots thing did. Why am I not hating this absurd metronomic robotic success that they're having?
I don't know, but the similarities are like the one-off plays here and there that you could point to. There are a lot of similarities in that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what always makes it tough from an analysis perspective, because I know you could say one play here, one play there for any team throughout history, but the Chiefs team, again, like the Niners were a third down conversion away from winning the Super Bowl last year, right? The Eagles were a play or two away from winning the Super Bowl 2 years ago. The AFC Championship, the AFC Divisional, like every week they're a play or two away.
I mean, that's just the reality of football most of the time in the playoffs.
But but then over time things turn at some point, right? So like a Patriots hater could say, well, you're a couple plays away from having 2 Super Bowls. And a Patriots fan could say, they're a play away from having 10 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's
the
why
3 that they lost were one play here and one play there.
But it's why like plays have names, right? Like it's why there's the catch is a thing, right?
Well, there's a helmet catch and these
but
things
like
that,
going back, it's why, the catch, Montana to Dwight Clark, is a thing, because that changed the narrative around the 49ers. They went from you can't get past Dallas to suddenly you're the team and you start a dynasty. It's why, the Holy Roller or the Immaculate Reception, like all these plays with names, like they have names because narratives swing on these individual plays that completely change the way we view X franchise for the next 5 years.
I think part of it too, though, is like Andy Reid is a more likable personality than Bill Belichick. just the
That's
leader
true.
of the operation.
Yeah.
Like Andy's like, I just want cheeseburgers and Hawaiian shirts, and
Yeah.
I call, and he's an offensive guy. I call cool plays, and I think that's probably part of it.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. I mean, even Tom Brady was like a bland, amorphous non-personality for his entire career. Like, at least Mahomes is vaguely interesting as a human. Mahomes, Brady was just this androgynous, like, mannequin of a quarterback for 20 years, and everyone hated that.
He was a 6th round underdog, man.
Right, but there was no substance to him as a human for his entire career. You know what I mean? Like, he just got this like boring, banal, beige excellence, which is just not compelling.
Beige and eventually pewter excellence when they moved. All right, man, that's good. Good Shouty Show segment. I mean, yeah, you're right. Nick Wright. I mean, it's fascinating to me that people want to. Of course, people want to watch Nick Wright show. Just tune in to like the Kansas City fan tell you how good his team is, but that's what he does. They keep getting away with it.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.